Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
Now, of all the interviews that you have done or you've conducted, which one is the most memorable and why? In your entire career, one.
A lot of, I've done over 10,000 interviews. Yes. I've done over almost 15,000 because the last count was about 12,000. So I would like to talk about the last one, the one with Peter Obi, because I have done a lot. I've done quite a number with people across the continent, across Africa, almost on a weekly basis. I speak with people in Kenya, in Uganda, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, and that's one of the key things I enjoy doing at New Central. So I'll tell you why that of Peter Obi is still very fresh in my memory. Yeah, it's still trending, even though it happened on radio, and that's the power of the media. And someone said to me, a colleague called me and said, "This is by far Peter Obi's best interview." And he said to me, a veteran, and he said to me, "Sulaiman, it is because of the style of interview. You made Peter Obi relaxed to the extent that some of the things he never said to people, he was saying it to you." And I said, well, it's one of the things I learned over the years. And it's to make you feel relaxed. It's to make you, sometimes I stutter on some words, even though I am not supposed to stutter, to make you think that I'm a little bit confused in trying to bring it out, and it works for me. And sometimes I don't ask you a question. I make it like a statement, and you start talking. And sometimes I infer, and I'll just wait for you to deny, or affirm or deny. So the style of interview can be seen in two great people outside Nigeria. One of blessed memory, talking about Larry King. He plays with you, he cheats with you, but he doesn't fight you. It's an interview, it's not an interrogation. So Peter Obi's interview was one that I have watched. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't watch myself after every show. Yes, I don't. Yes, I don't.
So why don't you watch yourself?
Yes, I think I'm not the only one that does happen to. I don't like to watch myself. And you now ask me, how do you now have a review of what you did well and what you didn't do well? I know as the show is going on, I know that I should have done this one. So sometimes when you see me, I take notes. Some of my notes are not even follow-up questions. Some of my notes are, putting down what I should have done. And I'm one of those who feel so bad. I beat myself, yes, and that's why my colleagues still they get, some of them who don't understand me, they go that this man is so angry, and there's always an outburst if you make me go for an air. If it's not from me, if it's from me, I feel so pain. That means if it's from someone else, I also feel so pain. So back to Peter Obi. Peter Obi's interview brought out a lot. And
is it okay?
Yes, for the first time. So it stood out for me for the first time in a long while. I was able to gauge what opinions people have always said of him on social media, and the real man with me live. And sometimes people haven't met you, and they say so many things about you. And I realized that with ease, he was saying a lot to me. When Peter Obi was talking, I said to my team when we were done, I said, number one, Peter Obi said a lot. Peter Obi just said that he's leaving the PDP. They said, no, he didn't say that. I said, no, I was listening to what he was not saying. While he was talking, he got to a point, because I was asking him, look, there's a gang up against you. He was talking over me. And I said, no, but you have a feeling there is a gang up. I just knew. I said, okay, good. I've been able to establish that there's a gang up. And when he said it's not a do or die affair, then when he also said, I said, look, you depleted the gains of that guy. And he said, no, he was in another party who said he can't move. The moment he said, who says he can't move, I said, he has moved already. And truly, when the letter came up, and the letter was dated, even before the interview, and I said, aha, this letter was already ready before we had this interview.
Before the interview. Okay. Now you said in the course of your career you would have done over 15,000 interviews.
Yeah.
Who would you like to interview that you have not been able to get?
It's
one person.
One person.
Yes, that you really want to interview, but hasn't been able to pin down for an interview.
I love Malema, Julius Malema.
Okay.
He's the leader of the EFF in South Africa.
Yeah.
I think I can say this on your program now. I see Malema as becoming a South African president someday.
Okay.
I've watched Julius from his rascality kind of politics now getting to something of a hero, and the last municipal elections in South Africa, which is what we call the council elections, we saw that the ANC lost quite a number of seats. The EFF and the other opposition party, they gained some seats. So gradually, have on his side, he will clinch that someday. And I just also watched him, throwing jabs at Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. And I said to my colleague who is based in South Africa, that, look, get me my name. I want to talk to Julius. There are a lot of things I want to ask this young African that so many young Nigerians can learn from.
Interesting. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, what would you say makes a good interview?
A good interview truly is having the anchor understand the essence of the chat, and sometimes the topic may not be what the interview is about. So sometimes a good interview is, at the end of the day, sometimes it's that you are getting an exclusive that has just dropped off, without the interviewee knowing, as we've said about Peter Obi telling people that I will leave, I will get on to another political party, or that has answered almost everything. I go back again. An example is the Oga at the top. It was an interview meant to verify an issue. There was an online job racketeering, and all we needed to do was to now verify the authentic website so that we know that it's not azu.com, but it's azu.ng.com. So you must be able to achieve those things. So in a personality interview, you want to ensure that everything and every main, the main meat about that personality is brought to the audience. If it's an interview to verify things, you should be able to get that out of for the audience. So a good interview is one that the audience understands the issue by the line of questioning and follow-ups that the anchor or the presenter, brings to bear.
Interesting. Now, what do you normally consider before inviting someone over for an interview?
Is one of the key things is that I've been a producer. I produced for that number of years. I'll place a call and I'll try to sound you out for a bit, and sounding you out and also doing a background check. Otherwise, these days you get a guest, and if you're not a part of that, that's why you see some people go on air and when you go. So Sulaiman, so as a member of the PDP and I